to hit this before Matt started talking? No? No. Hey, thanks, Matt, and thanks everybody for being here. One of my favorite things to do is share what I know with others so that you can learn from what I know and not make the same mistakes and take advantage of the occasional things that I actually get right. So years ago, I just finished up what I like to refer to as my hiatus from my regiment, the 10th Special Forces Group. I just spent 2 years in D.C. and I'd come back to the 10th Special Forces Group. Now, no longer a captain, no longer a cool action guy. Now I was a commander. I was now a major and I was in charge. So I went from having 12 men who worked for me to having 6 teams of 12 men of the nation's best who worked for me. I took over my company, and I'm gonna dispel a Hollywood myth for you. There's a lot of them when it comes to the military, but this is one that I think might catch you off guard. Is all those missions that you see in the movies? Very few of those, like maybe less than 1%. The guys who did it volunteered. They just happened to be the guy. Almost every single Congressional Medal of Honor. It just happened to be the dude who stood there in the moment, saw something, and wanted to make a change and take care of it. That's the way the military is. So I showed up. I took command of my company, and my boss calls me up and says, "Otis, we're going to take your company to Kosovo." I said, "Roger that, sir. That's badass. I'm ready." So we spent 2 months training up. Myself, Operational Detachment Bravo, that's my headquarters, and 6 Operational Detachments Alpha, those 12-men groups. And we spent 2 months training up, the way we do things, getting ready, playing through scenarios of vehicles and conversations and you name it, all kinds of what ifs, having a lot of fun, getting better at what we do. And then we deployed. The first week I was there, my boss calls me up. Still good friends with him, General Les Fuller. And if I was, where's my good Alabama accent, folks? Because Les is a deep down Alabama boy, and I cannot do, as a Texas boy, I can't make an Alabama accent. But General Fuller calls me up and says, "Otis, you boys are doing a really good job." I said, "Roger that, sir. Thank you very much. I'm going to send you another Special Operations Detachment Alpha from another battalion." I'm like, "Great, sir. Thank you very much." These guys show up. They give me their presentation, tell me what their capabilities are, what their primary mission is, what they were told they were supposed to do when they got there. I said, "Great." Myself and my sergeant major sat down. We did the math, figured out, all right, this is how these guys fit into the picture. Next week, get another call from General Fuller. "Otis, you boys are doing a great job." "Thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. I'm going to send you a Navy SEAL platoon." "Roger that, sir, because I'm a good soldier." "Roger that, sir. Looking forward to it." SEALs show up. Same thing, come in, tell me all the wonderful things that my SEAL brothers can do because they're amazing. Just ask them anytime. They will save the world. Put them to work. See how they fit into my bigger picture. The next week, phone rings again. My buddy, I'm still really good friends with General Fuller, by the way. General Fuller calls me up and says, "Otis, man, you guys are kicking ass. I'm so proud of y'all. The SOCOM commander just called, and he wants to send you the Ranger Regimental Recon Team." "Roger that, sir. That would be a great honor. Love to employ those men. They are the best of the Rangers. Can't wait to have them here." He says, "Roger, they're on the way." Same thing. These boys show up, give me their capability brief. I say, "Roger, okay, this is how we're going to fit it in. This is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to help not only our mission, but the U.S. mission in Kosovo. Guess what? General Fuller calls me up again. Otis, man, I've given you so much stuff, so many guys, so many capabilities, that I want to help you out this time. I'm going to send you a squad of Navy Seabees. Roger that, sir. I love me some Seabees. And those of you who don't know what a Navy Seabee is, a Navy Seabee, when I first went on active duty in the Army, I was an engineer. And the Army engineers, because the Army is massive, right? Massive compared to the Navy. So because we're so big, I had guys who drove bulldozers, guys who drove bucket loaders, guys who drove the dump trucks, guys who drove semis, very specialized. The Seabees show up, these guys can lay electrical line, plumbing, construction, mechanics, they did it all. It was like 4 of them. And they were doing cartwheels and building things before I had cabinets built, I had a gym built. Amazing, amazing guys. So if you ever get a chance to work with Navy Seabees, I highly recommend it. Army engineers are great, love them. Thanks to this lake here, Corps of Engineers, same engineers. So now I've gone from a 60-man company when we prepared to deploy to Kosovo to about 150. And because the Army doesn't do anything simple, the military doesn't do anything simple, I had 4 bosses. I had 2 on the ground with me in Kosovo, the guy who was in charge of all U.S. forces, the guy who owned the land, as we like to put it. Then my next boss was in Stuttgart, that was General Fuller. Then my next boss was back in Colorado because my home, I had to go back to home, so I better be nice to that guy while I'm deployed because you got to go home sometime. It was a mess. And that's the best way to put it. We had prepared for a certain type of mission, a certain type of thing to do. Did it pick it? Where's that? Oh, you got to turn the ON, OFF selector to ON. There we go. We had a mission to do, but we had changed so much that it felt like things were out of control. And by the way, there was a whole nother factor that I hadn't mentioned yet. The locals, the Kosovarians, the Muslims, the Catholics, the Roman Catholics, the Serbian Catholics, all these sort of enclaves. Well, when I was first in Kosovo, we rolled in and everything was hunky-dory because they were kind of confused of what the heck are all you guys doing here? By the time I'm there the second time, this time with my company, they kind of gotten tired of all the supervision. And things went from sitting around drinking coffee, being friendly, to mortar rounds, explosives. This is all pre-9/11, pre-Iraq and Afghanistan. Before we even understood how to spell IED. Things just started escalating. It was out of control. Chaos. But you know what's great about chaos? Is it's only in your head. And if you understand that you are in a chaotic state, guess what? You can change it. You can switch it. It is a mental state because chaos is a choice. What is chaotic to me is not chaotic to Matt. I can tell you, I can walk into my office when I get home tomorrow night. There's 3 pieces of paper here. There's a journal there, keyboard, mouse, little drawer thing, 2 books on top of it. If I walk in tomorrow night and my wife or my wife's office manager has gone and checked mail and done what she does, I'm getting anxious just thinking about it. Done what she does most times. When there's something for me, she puts it on my desk. Ugh. That's chaos to me because it's blowing my pattern. It is no longer in order. But that's a choice because I choose my desk to be that way. When I go downstairs to Miss Suzanne's desk, guess what? You don't look anything like my desk. I don't know if there's enough papers in this room to replicate Miss Suzanne's desk. Because that's the way she sees order. It is not chaos to her. Chaos is a choice, and that's the power of choosing. And that's how, when you think about what chaos is, it's not that, first off. Who here remembers the TV show Get Smart? Man, I used to love the timing of that because it was lunchtime during the summer. I get to watch Get Smart. And you know, the arch enemy, the bad guys for Get Smart, was chaos. And I'll tell you, until I was about 20, 25, I thought that's how you spelled chaos, with a K. But that's not how you spell it. And it's not what it really is. Chaos is disorder. And I'm not going to get into the science, chaos science and all that, okay? I'm talking about here in your head and in your business. Because chaos is a perception of disorder and dysfunction and things being out of the ordinary of what you want them or expect them to be. That's chaos. That's how you can be this dude here holding his book burning with ostriches and people going crazy all in the background, and just be calm. Because it may be chaos to everybody else, but you know what? I don't know what kind of office that is, but that might be every day in that office. If that's every day in the office, it's not chaos, right? So it's a choice. How do we choose it? Because when we see chaos, when we believe we're in chaos, we are in crisis mode. And when we're in crisis mode, our opportunity to see solutions narrows. Because crisis mode puts us into fight or flight mode. Our vision goes from here, when we see opportunities, when we're feeling good about ourselves, when we're positive, we have a positive outlook, to narrow it down to here. And when we get in that state right there, whether somebody's shooting at you or you just lost a contract or somebody just dropped a wrench into the gears and broke that recycling machine that Ron was telling me about that cost a couple $100,000 to fix it. Yeah. If I'm in crisis, chaos mode right there, then I only see one of two things, fight or flight. I'm either yelling and screaming or balling up in the corner and feeling sorry for myself because life's so hard and sucks. But that's how we can choose. When we start to realize that chaos is a choice. It's something that we perceive. It's all about our perception. And when we realize we're in that state, we can change our state. That's how we become the calm guy in the storm instead of running away. Because we can start to say, this is a mess, but because it's a mess, I know how to fix it. When I was a Special Forces guy, we thrived in that environment. We thrived in that environment because of everything we do to prepare for it. We didn't see chaos, we saw opportunity. We would create chaos for the others, for the enemy, so that we could create and have opportunity for us. So when we start to think about chaos, we see it, we feel it, we're in crisis mode, then guess what? We got to start to define it. When we realize we're there, we feel it. You feel your heart rate go up, feel the blood pressure, feel the excitement, feel the intensity. Then we can start to say, well, what happened? How did I get here? What's going on? Is the thing we were trying to do still the thing that we should be doing? Or do we need to shift into something else? Do we need to completely change the plan? But if I'm in crisis mode, again, my theory, my vision is narrowed down to A or B. But when I step out of that and realize there's so many more opportunities, and it's not as bad as I think because I've stopped it, then guess what? I can see more opportunities. And I can start to ask questions. I can start to gather information. I can start to make a plan to move out of it. and ask a better question. The most beautiful thing you can do as a leader is ask better questions of your team. Because you ask a better question, you get a better answer. Something real simple I'll plant in your head right now. There's a closed question and an open question. Closed question, very simple, yes or no. Open question, how are you going to do that? How would you approach that? It changes the mindset of your team. It helps them open up because, and I learned this lesson as a rugby coach in particular, I show my boys a drill. Hey, we're going to do this here. Got to tackle this way, da-da-da-da. Go through a 5-minute spiel on some drill. And I'd look at all my high school boys. Everybody got it? Yes, coach. And you know, sure enough, first guys through it, what'd they do? Screwed it up bigger than Dallas, right? Because I didn't ask a better question. How could we do this? How would you approach that? What can we learn before we start this? What were we trying to accomplish? What happened when this occurred? That's how we start to ask those open-ended questions to get the conversation going in our team and get them thinking about what is happening. How do we keep it from happening again? How do we move out of crisis mode? Because if we stay there, it's never going to get fixed and we're going to end up doing it again. Anybody know 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon? That's Kevin Bacon right there. Seen the who has seen Animal House? Let's start there. All right, good. You're going to get lots of homework that's going to involve movies today. So remember at the end of the movie in Animal House during the parade, Kevin Bacon standing there after the Tri-Delts had started blowing things up and causing chaos in the parade. And there's Kevin, remain calm, trying to be the calm leader in the storm, and he's overwhelmed by the crowd. But he was doing the right thing initially, but he wasn't captivating his team, the crowd, because it turned into a mob. He'd lost control. So when we start to think about moving out of chaos, we have to understand what's that outcome we want, and how do we create a plan to move out of there. And I put some bullets down here that I used and have been using for years that I learned in the Army. What are the facts? What's truth? We're gathering information. We're collecting the information so that we can move forward out of this chaos, out of crisis mode, into operational mode to where we can see more opportunities. So we're going to understand our facts. What's the things we got to do? Specified tasks. What are the things that we have to do all the time that we may do in a normal operation? Implied tasks. What are the constraints? What can't you do? What must you do? How much time is available? These are the things that we start to collect and understand so we can put the plan together to move out of that state of mind. And then finally, assumptions, one of my favorite things. Everybody knows what happens when you assume. Well, I'm here to tell you, you have to assume. You have to assume. You have to make assumptions for things in order for your plan to work. And they have to be true. Now, in the larger planning sense, that's also where you start to develop your risk analysis. That's where you identify your risk. You make an assumption. What happens if my assumption isn't true? That becomes a risk. But in this state, what we're doing is we're collecting this information so we can understand the whole picture. Because, again, I've seen and I've identified this is chaos. I'm in crisis mode. I want to step out of crisis mode. And because I want to step out of crisis mode, I can do these things and move to take action and make the plan. So, speaking of movies, now this is going to take some technical effort here. And volume. Oops. Am I going the right way? Where's it at? There it is. All right. Real quick clip. Who here has seen Apocalypse Now? All right, so still a lot of people going to have homework tonight. All right, Animal House, and probably ought to watch Apocalypse Now first because it's, whoo, it gets deep. And then watch Animal House to lighten the mode. You know, so Robert Duvall here, the Colonel, Air Cav, Air Mobile. This is that scene on the beach, one of the most famous scenes that most people know about Apocalypse Now. There's several of them. But I want you to watch and listen. I think I got the volume up as high as it'll go, so hopefully you can hear some of it. Because what's happening, war is chaos. There's no other way of depicting, no matter how much effort we put into it in preparation and plans and actions and training and things like that, war is still chaos. And that's what's happening. So I want you to watch the good Colonel here take charge of this situation in the chaos of the battle. Now, say all you want about the technique, but what is he doing to his men? He's showing them that, yes, this is chaos. However, we're going to cut right through the chaos. We're going to cut through the chaos. And you know what? We're going to go surfing. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go surfing, men, because there's this beautiful break both ways where two surfers can come up, get on a board, and break both ways. That's what this is about. But what he's doing is he's showing, as the leader right there, that it is safe and it's calm. Yes, there's some things that happen right after this with a helicopter and a grenade and a fake baby and things like that. However, in this moment, Robert Duvall is saying, yeah, this is chaos all around here, but you know what? Chaos doesn't mean anything to me because I'm in control. I'm creating order in the situation as the leader. All right, now bear with me while I de-do this. Once I find my mouse again. All right. Come on, go away. There we go. Not you. There we go. So, I mentioned what I did with my company before going to Kosovo. 2 months. 2 months of preparation, pre-mission training, we called it. 2 months of preparing to step into the chaos that General Fuller and the Kosovars put us into. We worked every day, nonstop, training, preparing, being ready for whatever chaos, whatever was thrown at us, whatever happened. One of the main things we did, and one of the things that I did when I was a team leader on my one Special Forces detachment Alpha, not just when I was a company commander, is we did this thing called cross training. And this Special Forces is huge because our mission is to go behind enemy lines and do the deeds and survive and win. Well, that means there's nobody there to help support you. There's nobody there. There's nobody coming to get you, as my buddy Scotty Mann likes to say. Nobody's coming to get you. And what that meant is we had to cross-train. So on a Special Forces team, you had these specialty skills. You had a weapons guy, communications guy, an engineer, and a medic. And each of these guys had spent a full year training in their specialty before they got to the detachment, and then continued to train in their specialty. So think about those people on your team that have gone through the training and got to your team and then continue to focus on those specialties. That's what I'm talking about. They are specialized. They're the best in the world at what they do. But you know what? When Bill got hurt or had to stay home from a deployment, I didn't have a medic. When Randy got hurt and had to go home, I didn't have an engineer. Well, I couldn't just not operate. I had to have preparation for that thing, that crisis, that chaos to happen. And the way we did it is we spent time. If we weren't at the range shooting, if we weren't under a rucksack moving out somewhere, physical fitness training outside, and we were in the team room, we were cross-training. We were helping each other. And by the way, when I say cross-training, I'm not talking about kipping pull-ups, okay? Not CrossFit, all right? Not talking about that. I'm talking about helping each other understand what each other does. Now, there was no way, and I can tell you this because I screwed it a lot up. As an officer, they taught us about that deep of what everybody did on the team. And what that meant was I had a basic understanding, but I had no capability to replace any of my guys. This is not about replacing men on your team, men and women on your team. It's about understanding what they do. And you know what? When I have that understanding, I don't have to be the expert, but you know, if Matt's on my team and Matt can't be there today for whatever reason, and something comes up in his role, but I've been cross-trained in Matt's role, guess what? I could probably figure it out and cover it. I mean, if my accounts payable guy, God forbid, has something bad happen to him, gets in a car accident, whatever, quits. Now I've got this gap. Does that mean I'm not going to invoice? Right? I mean, I've got to do something. So wouldn't it be better if we started to work across the team and train? When I was on the team, the ODA, that's what we do. My weapons sergeant would pull out some weapons. He'd show us how to do it, teach us how to set up a mortar and do a direct lay. And the commo sergeant would teach us the formula for laying out an HF long wire antenna and how to cut the wire length and where to lay it and all these sort of things, and how to do five-letter code groups and Morse code, and never got the Morse code stuff. But that's what we started to do. My medic, the most favorite of all and also the most dreaded when we did medical cross-training, how to stick an IV. Because you know what? If my medic is the one who gets shot, I need to know how to stick him with an IV to save his life, to mainline his IV. And notice I said mainline. We're not talking about hospital stuff, the little teeny needle that's in the back of your hand that you just feel a little prick. We're talking about like shotgun shell needles that we're shoving in our main arteries, which provides for some entertainment in the team room. Looks like a mass murder happened by the end of those training sessions, because it is not as easy as it looks, my friends. But that's why we did it, because we knew we had to be prepared to back up. We had to be prepared for the things that we couldn't be prepared for. Anybody ever read the book Black Swan? Excellent. The two smartest men in the room, apparently. All right, 3. Well, because I read it too, so I'll count that. A Black Swan event, and if you haven't read it, it's a great book. It's a great metaphor also. A Black Swan event, the metaphor is swans are white, right? But there are black swans. Those things happen, but they're an anomaly. They don't happen all the time, and they just kind of like throwing a spot. It's kind of the way I like to think about it. So you cannot say, hey, there's a black swan event coming because COVID-19 in March of 2020 is going to shut us down. That's a black swan event, by the way, by the definition, the way Nassim, I can't remember his name. Talib, thank you. By the way he defines it, you can't prepare for it, but you know what you can be prepared for? The chaos that a black swan event causes. And the better preparation you do before it happens means you'll be the one who stands calm in that storm, that chaos storm when it happens. That's how you do it. So now you got 2 movies and a book. Man, I better wrap it up quick. Y'all are going to be busy this week. But you have to have the preparation. You cannot prepare for a crisis in the crisis. And one last thing, I want to hit that last bullet. I almost skipped over it on the cross train. You know what? You know what else it really helps with? Now I know what's going on with Cliff. Now I know why Cliff struggles the last 3 days of the month. Because he's got all this crap that me and the other guys didn't get to him until the last minute. Now he's got to do the closeout. I understand it. I've walked a mile in his shoes, and now I can understand what's going on in Cliff's office, why he's having so much trouble at the end of the month. I can appreciate and empathize. And if Cliff gets sick at the end of the month, I know that I'm going to slide over here and let Matt go over there and take care of it so I don't have to. But I have an understanding if I need to go in there and do that. That's what cross-train does. I can appreciate the effort. And it comes back to me because now he understands what I'm going through. That's how we build that team. That's how we create that culture in your organization. So when we're back in that chaos state, we have to move out of it. Just like Robert Duvall did in Apocalypse Now. He said, this is what we're going to do. And when you watch that movie, you'll see shortly after that, the boys are out surfing with an indirect fire that lands in between the two surfers, which is always entertaining. A mortar round blowing up. But we have to make that plan to be intentional to move out of it. Because if we're not taking the action to move out of the crisis, to move out of that chaos, we're just going through the same crap again. Who here knows somebody that says, man, I love crisis. I love crisis. Yeah. You know what? They're either lying to you or they're lying to you. Because they don't love crisis. What they're talking about is they're getting a dopamine hit off of it. Right? They're not any good at it because they're still in crisis mode. Again, crisis mode goes from there to here. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you operate in crisis. If you're truly in crisis mode, that's what your mind does. Our mind goes into survival mode, whether it's in business or somebody shooting at you. It goes from here to there. So, I'm sorry?
Like you just said, if you're prepared, it creates opportunity.
Exactly. That the preparation creates the opportunity in it. Because as soon as I recognize that has happened, as soon as I recognize, oh my God, crisis, what's the best solution? I may be able to, and I'm going to show you some steps here in just a second. I may be able to pause. I may have the time to think about it. Another great one is a self-induced crisis that people do. Self-induced meaning, I know the deadline is the 30th of November for this proposal. My client expects it on the 30th, on their desk. So when should I start putting that proposal together, pricing it, pulling things? Well, if you're some of the guys that I've worked with, the night of the 29th, and you're driving up I-95 into the Beltway, praying to God that the cops don't pull you over for speeding and there's not an accident so that you can get it into their office and drop that proposal off. That used to drive me crazy working for people like that. Self-induced crisis is no different than a crisis that happens like a black swan event. It's still a crisis. So why put yourself there? Why have a poor performance? Because that's what you're doing. You're setting yourself up to perform less than your capability, less than the team's capability. How good do you think those proposals were? I can tell you this, we never won a single one where we rushed in like that. As many times as I tried to change them, that's why I don't work for them anymore. As many times as I tried to change them, they wouldn't do it because they believed that's where they got the best performance. Not so. So here's some steps I want you to think about. And if you look at this business on the left side, I know those of you in the back can't quite see it, military on the right. But here's the first step right there in red, GTFO. Anybody got a guess for what that stands for? Exactly. Get the hell out, right? Get the fuck out. Because we got to stop. Whatever caused the chaos, whatever caused the crisis, we should stop doing what we were doing that caused it. I mean, good grief. Quit dropping the damn wrenches in that spinning thing that separates the minerals. Daggum, boy. I'm going to get a rope and tie those wrenches to you so you quit dropping them in. Stop. That's what you gotta think. Stop. Stop doing it. Now, in the Army, I want to give you a visualization. When I was in Ranger School, they used to help teach us lessons when we weren't meeting the expectations of the Ranger instructors. And there's these things called artillery simulators. And the Ranger instructors must have carried about 50 of them, I felt like sometimes, because they would use so many of them. And what it is it sounds like an artillery round coming in, and then it blows up. And it's got a little fuse on it. So what the RI does when we're screwing up or we're mucking around or should be moving one way and not moving the other way or whatever it was, or maybe you just got bored, he popped that thing and you could hear it. You hear him pull the string and you're like, oh fuck, here it comes. And he'd toss it at us and you hear, boom. And when that happened, we had to GTFO. And we GTFO by going a cardinal direction and a distance. 9 o'clock, 500 meters. So we'd run 500 meters. Then we get to that 500 meters. We get to that point. God help us when we say 500 meters and only go about 150, because guess what? Boom! We're running again. We get to that point, we'd stop. We'd face out. We'd take a knee. Everybody see that? Take a knee, drink water, and change socks. Let me tell you, friends, there is nothing better after you've just run with all your kit and gear in this crisis mode that you're in Ranger School, because you're right on the edge of everything becoming crisis and chaos in Ranger School every single second. You've just run 500 meters with all that stuff on. Nothing feels better than stop, face out, take a knee, drink some water, change your socks. So what's going on in here? Well, when I've stopped the movement, so now I'm out of the crisis, right? I've moved out of the crisis. If the building's burning, get the hell out of the building. But you know what else I can do? If there's a fire, and I look and I see there's a fire and there's a fire extinguisher, can I put the fire out in the fire extinguisher? Yeah, I can do that. Maybe I can. But we have to make sure we can get out, stop the crisis right then. Then when we face out, guess what we're doing? Yeah, in the military terms, we're pulling security. But really what we're doing is we're collecting information. We're asking questions. We're looking around. What's happening over there? What's that? Is something moving over there or something moving over there? That's what we're looking for. We're collecting the information. We're asking questions. We're gathering information so that we can create a plan. Drink water. We're refreshing our mind, feeling better about ourselves, catching our breath. And I'll tell you a magical thing, and that's changing your socks. If you've never had the feeling of what it's like and how wonderful it is to put on a fresh pair of socks, not necessarily clean, but fresh, I challenge you to go for a long walk Saturday morning, about, if you're out 5 miles, 10 miles, whatever, in the woods, about 3/4 of the way into it, stop, sit down, take your shoes off, put a fresh pair of socks on, and finish it. See what that feels like. It changes your mind. It changes your whole state. It's an amazing, simple thing. And I use those steps to help you think about what to do in that crisis mode. Stop the action. Pause and assess. What's going on? Start to collect the information. Ask questions. Gather information. Create the plan. Begin movement. You know what we have to begin movement? We have to start taking action to fix it. Because it ain't going to fix itself. We can plan all day long. Matt and I can sit down, draw up a plan for the Next 10 years of ProCents. And if we don't do anything with it, pat each other on the back, what a wonderful plan it is, it ain't going to do anybody any good. We got to start moving. We got to put it into action. And then continue to refine your plan as you move. A plan is not a Bible that sits on the shelf that you just point at and talk about how great it is, the golden book, the golden plan. Pull that thing off and it'll have a lot of red lines through it, pencil marks, and additions. So back to Kosovo real quick, just so everybody knows, because I didn't know what the hell Kosovo was, where the hell it was. There it is, way the heck down here. It was a former, this is all former Yugoslavia from back in the Cold War days. That's Kosovo. You can see my team, my company there, we created a multidisciplined culture that drove success and opportunity for all my men. Got more accolades and more awards there than we did in anything else we ever done, because we understood what was required of each one of us, number one, how I fit into each organization and each individual fit into their individual respective organizations, and how each individual respective organization fit into the bigger picture, all the way up to the U.S. national defense. We understood that. And because we bought into that, we could operate in that environment, in that chaos. We could thrive. We loved it. My boys would eat that shit up. Man, there was nothing better than when things went crazy to hear my guys talking on the radio. Sound just like me right now. It's like, oh, Roger, sir, we got a blah, 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 blah. Roger that. Call me if you need anything. Roger that, sir. We'll report in the morning. Because they were prepared. They'd done the effort. They'd set themselves up. We had all set ourselves up for the chaos to step into it and win. So let's wrap this up. You got to choose your action. I like to say you can choose to act, be proactive, or reactive. Reactive, think of it this way. Somebody slaps you in the face, a reaction might be to slap them right back. A proaction might be, that's all right. Okay? Because if you're prepared, be intentional in your action, you know that you have choices. And reactions go back into crisis, chaos mode, where it's just bang, bang. So be sure to be prepared for the situations so that you can be proactive in your actions. And you cannot prepare in a crisis. You can only survive. And the only way to survive is to be prepared. So if you start taking actions today, I challenge each of you to start thinking about, how do I prepare my team for the next Black Swan event? How do I prepare my team, whether it's a continuity of operations or cross-training or having a plan that drives your company towards 5-year growth and revenue, whatever those things are, start the preparation now. Because if you do not, it'll kick your ass when it happens. And you will pay the price and you'll go, damn, freaking hate Otis. Wish he wouldn't have said that, because he was right 2 years ago. That son of a... Start the preparation now, because if you're prepared, you'll win in that chaos. You'll be that calm voice moving through to the best solutions while your competition is going, ah, financial crisis, government shutdown, Doge. Don't be that guy. And finally, this start doing it. Pet peeve of mine, Quit saying it, just do it. Quit telling me you wanna. Quit telling me you shoulda. Just do it. Tony Robbins said this, I heard him say this quote a long time ago. Don't should all over yourself. Just take action. Start moving forward. Quit talking about it. Quit talking about, I need to do the plan. Quit talking about, I need to prepare my team. Quit talking about, I need to make sure that they understand all the roles that are going on in our team, in our company, so that we can be more successful. Don't talk about it. Do it. It ain't that hard, and it doesn't take that much time. I mean, good grief. If I could do it on a special forces team, you can do it in your business. You just got to be intentional, and you got to take that action. And those of you who are getting to know me a little bit better, I'm a bit of a stoic. Huge fan. Here's your fourth homework assignment. So now you got 4. You got 2 movies and 2 books. Marcus Aurelius' book, Meditations, his journal to himself that he wrote. Highly, highly recommend it. You will sit down and read that. There's several different versions of it, from the 99-cent little copy that'll fit in your pocket to big bound, leather bound. You sit down and read that, and it's like, how the hell did this guy write that thing 2,500 years ago? Because it fits right here, right now. This is just one of the quotes, one of my many favorite. Perfection of character, to live your last day every day without frenzy or sloth or pretense. And if one other one, I'll give you a derivative of that, or kind of the follow-on of that. Live today so that tomorrow will tell stories of today. And you start to think about that in your life. Start to think about how you can move forward in your business, how you can move forward in your life, how you can be a better human, better person, better man, better woman. That's how you do it, when you think about these things in that way. So I got this little QR code here. It will take you to a website. I'm asking you a favor here. If you shoot that QR code, it's going to take you to a website where we're going to go through a survey. It'll take you about 10 minutes, maybe 15. Matt with the bigger words on there, about 15 minutes. It's a survey of leadership. And you're going to get 2 things out of this. It's going to get you thinking about what it's like to be a leader with these 6 C's, and those of you in the back can't see it: culture, collaboration, chaos, consistency, clarity, and conscience. It's going to ask you a question and you're score it. It's going to get you thinking about what it's like to be a leader, because leadership's a skill. Second thing you're going to get is, in about 24 hours, you're going to get a feedback email from my team of what your score means to you. And it'll identify, maybe you need to think about being more conscious as a leader for your team. Maybe you need to think about having a better culture, being more collaborative, just to get you thinking about those things. The second thing, the thing for me is, it's a favor for me, because we're collecting this data. It helps us at Tribe and Purpose be better leaders ourselves, and helps us prepare other leaders to be better. Because our purpose at Tribe and Purpose is to create a legacy of great leaders that are going to change the world. So I'm always looking for those resources and tools to become a better leader myself, because leaders create other leaders. And that's what I dream about. That's what fuels me and drives me each and every day. And Matt mentioned this earlier, and I'll have that QR code for you later also. But Matt mentioned one of the things that's become a huge passion of mine this last year that helps me fulfill that purpose of creating a legacy of great leaders, and that's my Steel Men Tribe. It's helping men become better men, better fathers, better husbands, better leaders, better businessmen, better neighbors, better members of the community, because none of us get there alone. And we need a tribe to help us grow and be a better leader. As men, we have to realize that we need other men around us, shoulder to shoulder, digging a hole, And that's where we'll gain the most. With shovels in our hand, working shoulder to shoulder to fix that problem and take action. And our values are courage, honor, knowledge, and legacy. And I'll leave that. Matt, folks, I really, really appreciate everything and all the time, brother. Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Put the QR code back up here. I want to leave that up.
Oops.
So anybody got questions for us? For the women in here, it's not just about creating better men, it's about creating a better community, so don't feel isolated. But please scan the QR code. It's engagement.